Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake has finally been revealed at Summer Game Fest, and this is not the Code Veronica that most fans remember. The original game was known for its over-the-top bizarre moments and larger-than-life characters. It had a very unique style that separated it from every other Resident Evil game, but from what we have seen in this new trailer, Capcom seems to be taking a very different approach. This remake feels much darker, much more grounded, and way more focused on survival horror instead of pure spectacle. The atmosphere, the characters, and even the way the story is presented seem completely different. But the most interesting part is that Capcom appears to be making some major changes to the story, characters, and overall tone of the original game. These changes could completely reshape how Resident Evil Code Veronica is remembered by fans. So today we're breaking down every major reveal, every hidden detail, and the biggest clues that could tell us exactly where Capcom is taking this remake. Now, one of the biggest surprises from the trailer happens right in the opening sequence. Because if you played the original Code Veronica, you already know Claire Redfield's story begins very differently. In the original game, Claire is already infiltrating Umbrella's Paris facility when the opening cutscene begins. She is searching for information about her brother Chris Redfield, but things quickly go wrong. Claire is discovered by Umbrella security forces, chased through the facility, and eventually captured. After that, she is transported to Rockford Island, where the main events of Code Veronica begin. But in the remake, Capcom seems to be taking a completely different direction. Instead of immediately throwing Claire into a huge action sequence filled with explosions and guards chasing her, the trailer opens with something much quieter and more personal. We see Claire arriving at an apartment, and based on what is shown, it appears to be Chris Redfield's apartment. Claire is still desperately searching for her brother after the events of Resident Evil 2, and right away, this changes the entire feeling of the story. Rather than starting with a massive action scene, the remake seems focused on building tension, mystery, and emotion. It gives Claire's journey more weight, because we actually see her investigation before everything goes wrong. This also matches the direction Capcom has taken with recent Resident Evil remakes, especially making characters feel more realistic and grounded. Another interesting detail from the trailer is the perspective. The footage appears to show both first-person and third-person gameplay options, which could be a huge change for the remake. This would allow players to experience the horror in different ways, depending on how they want to play. But then comes one of the biggest surprises in the entire trailer. While Claire is investigating the apartment, she suddenly gets attacked and captured by none other than the Grim Reaper himself. And this is a massive change. Because if you played the original Resident Evil Code Veronica, you know Kay barely has any involvement in the main story. In fact, most players probably don't even realize he has any connection to Code Veronica at all. His involvement was mostly hidden in background lore. Haneke was assigned by Umbrella to transport a mysterious container from the Antarctic transport terminal to Rockford Island. But now, the remake seems to be bringing him directly into the story. This could mean Capcom is expanding Haneke's role in a major way, possibly connecting Code Veronica more closely to the larger Resident Evil timeline. Haneke has always been one of the most mysterious characters in the franchise, so giving him a bigger presence could add a completely new layer to the story. Another huge change could be Rockford Island itself. Recently, fans noticed that the Resident Evil Code Veronica Steam page included a motorbike tag, and according to Resident Evil insider Dusk Golem, this matches information they have heard about the remake. According to Dusk Golem, Rockford Island in the remake could be designed as a semi-open world area. The information suggests that Claire Redfield will repair a motorcycle and use it to travel across different parts of Rockford Island. If this is true, this would be one of the biggest changes compared to the original game. The original Rockford Island was much more limited, with players exploring connected areas in classic Resident Evil style. But a semi-open world design could completely change how exploration works. Imagine traveling across different sections of the island, discovering abandoned Umbrella facilities, hidden experiments, and new locations that were never included in the original game. This could give Capcom the opportunity to expand the lore while still keeping the survival horror elements that fans love. Of course, this also raises a lot of questions. How much of the original story will stay the same? How different will characters like Alfred Ashford, Alexia Ashford, and Chris Redfield be in this new version? Because based on this trailer, Capcom isn't just improving the graphics. They are rebuilding the experience from the ground up. The remake seems to be keeping the core idea of Code Veronica, but changing the way players experience the story. A darker tone, expanded character roles, new story sequences, and a larger Rockford Island could make this feel almost like a completely new Resident Evil game. And honestly, this might be exactly what Code Veronica needed. The original game had incredible ideas, but some parts haven't aged as well compared to other Resident Evil titles. A remake gives Capcom the chance to modernize the experience while introducing this story to a whole new generation of players. From everything we have seen so far, Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake is shaping up to be one of Capcom's most ambitious remakes yet. But now I want to know what you think. Are you excited about these changes, or do you want Capcom to stay closer to the original Code Veronica? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe for more Resident Evil news and updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.